I'm reviewing the CT9300 Action Cam from Crosstour. During the filming of this review, the price has changed several times, but currently it's $99 with a $15 coupon on Amazon. But at that price, is it worth it? Let's put it through some tests and find out. Alright, now we're going to take a look at what comes inside the box. We do have on the front of the box, it says that this is a dual screen 4x zoom touchscreen. We've got some specs here on the back, but there's really not much to see here. So in the box here, we've got the camera already in its case. And we've got a little box here labeled accessories. And in the accessory box, we get paperwork. Also inside the box, we get a handful of miscellaneous mounting equipment. We've got a remote control for the camera itself. We've got a charging cable and 2 batteries. So this housing is waterproof, rated up to 40 meters, but I don't have a body of water that is that deep anywhere near me, so we're just going to have to take their word for it. The menu system is a touchscreen interface, and if you're familiar with SJ cams, you will be very familiar with this menu system. If you plug the camera into your computer's USB port via the micro USB cable, you will have the option to put the camera into charging mode, mass storage mode, or camera mode. Charging mode charges the camera, mass storage mode allows you to read the files that are on the camera's SD card on your computer, and camera mode turns this camera into a webcam. Also, if you have a micro HDMI cable, you can use the HDMI output of this camera to record on a higher resolution to your computer, but that will require a capture card. The camera is fairly lightweight. We do have a front-facing screen and a rear-facing screen. We've got HDMI out. We've got our standard USB micro port. We've got a slot for a card. And on this side, we've got some controls. This build quality feels very similar to that of an SJ4000 or an SJ cam, but the addition of the front-facing screen is pretty nice. That's really about all that can be said about this camera, so we're going to take it out in the field and see what kind of video it can record. So first off, I'm going to talk about the weird colors. I assure you, my skin does not look like a hot dog. This camera tends to oversaturate colors, especially reds and greens. The colors can be somewhat corrected in post, but if you're looking for the perfect color right off the card, that's just not going to happen. From here on out, I will not be doing any kind of color grading with the video footage, so what you see is what you get. And to start off, I took a few video samples. Here's a shot at 4K, 30 FPS. And here's another shot at 1080p, 30 FPS. Comparing the two shots, I don't really see much difference. Here, I've zoomed way in on both shots so we can look at the two side by side. And to me, the 4K just looks like upscaled 1080 with a fake sharpness applied. In my opinion, the 1080 video actually looks better than this supposed 4K. So my next test was a recording in 1080 at 60 frames per second. And the 1080 video at 60 frames per second looked weird to me, and again, worse than 1080 at 30 frames per second. At first, I couldn't quite put my finger on what was off about the 1080 video at 60 frames per second. But then while editing this video, I realized it's indeed 60 frames per second, but it's interlaced video. So I almost never work at 60 frames per second, and this wouldn't be a big deal for me. But if it's important to you to have a full 60 FPS camera for that buttery smooth soap opera video, then this is just not the camera for you. The same goes for recording at high frame rates in 720. I recorded this video at 240 frames per second, hoping to get a really epic slow motion shot. And though I do like the slow-mo, it's a shame that the video quality isn't a little better. Now, with all of these complaints aside, I can honestly say that I was keeping my expectations low with this camera, because the best thing about this device is its price. You can get this camera for $85 on Amazon. And for that price, it's really not bad. Just keep in mind, you'll likely need to stick with 1080p, 30 frames per second video for the best results, which, in my opinion, after a bit of color correction, the video quality falls in that pretty good to not too bad range. One thing that Crosstour did get right with this camera was the phone app. I see that the app has gotten a lot of negative reviews on the Google Play Store, but I personally had zero problems with it. and it was one of the most flawless user experiences I've ever had with an off-brand action camera app. Another of my favorite things about this action cam is the front-facing screen. If you hold the down button for about 3 seconds, the video display will switch from back to front, which takes the guesswork out of wondering if you are framed properly. The built-in electronic image stabilization feature also works pretty well to smooth out your video when you're recording while walking. As with most action cameras, the wide-angle lens causes a lot of fisheye distortion. The camera has a setting to help correct this while you record, but I personally prefer to just correct it in post, which I think looks a lot better and gives you a lot more fine control over the image. Taking a time lapse is very easy, and I think overall the footage looks okay, aside from those wonky oversaturated colors, that is. Recording a slow motion shot also looks pretty good, though in the camera this feature is listed as slowly. The built-in microphone is about what you would expect with an action camera. And this is as good a place as any to do a microphone test of the built-in microphone of the Crosstour CT9300. I'm outside. We've got a minor little breeze here, and we've got birds chirping in the background. It's getting pretty close to sunset here, and again, this is what the built-in microphone of the Crosstour CT9300 sounds like. Supposedly you can get a micro USB microphone for this device, but I have not tested that out. I don't have one on hand, so I don't know what that would sound like, but this is what the built-in mic sounds like. And if you're looking to use this camera's micro HDMI output and record video into a capture card, this is roughly the video quality that you can expect. And if you're looking for this camera to double as a webcam, this is roughly the video quality that you can expect. It is capped out at 720, 30 frames per second in webcam mode. So to wrap up, I'm going to do a quick good versus bad of this Crosstour CT9300. The good, it's a low price. It's going for $99 on Amazon, and right now there's a 15% off coupon. I love the front-facing screen and the easy-to-use phone app. And as for the bad, the video formats are just all over the place, and it's got funky white balance and colors. But at $75, I would say that the camera is worth it for somebody who just needs a simple action cam to get the job done. And as a quick disclaimer, Crosstour did send me this camera as a free sample, but that in no way influenced this review. I hope I've given you enough information to go on as to whether this is a good purchase for you or not. I thank you so much for watching. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.